Welcome to First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis, the birthplace of Congregational Humanism. We carry on that tradition of free thought today, dedicated to promoting a free search for truth, meaning, and justice. Our web address is firstunitarian.org. I'm David Breeden, Senior Minister. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday Assembly for December 12th, 2021. Whether you are gathered with us here in our Upper Assembly Hall at First Unitarian Society or you are somewhere else joining us online, we are delighted that you are here with us. Wherever we are one congregation, and we're learning to have strength in all the ways that we find ourselves present here. Our Zoom coffee hour is on hiatus. Please watch the Friday email for any updates about things that are going on in the congregation, including in-person gatherings for social events and outdoor activities when weather permits, etc. If you are new to our congregation, today's the second Sunday of the month, and on each second Sunday, we host our session called Welcome to FUS, and that will be at noon today, both in person and online. And so I will post the link in the chat where we gather online. Our theme this month is cultivating joy, and sometimes joy seems hard to find in these difficult times, in all the ways that these times are difficult. Sometimes the songs from our songbook come to me and help me find solace and hope. And this morning, this verse is in my head. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere. Come, let us gather in community. I invite you to join. We light this chalice each week. And today we do so remembering the First Unitarian Society aspiration to live joyfully and ethically in loving, reverent relationship with humanity and nature. And now I invite you, wherever you are, to say the words of our congregational covenant. Love is the spirit of this place, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Good morning. It's lovely to be with you today. I'm Allison Wyeth, Director of Religious Education. As we move into our time for all ages, I'd like to invite our young ones to gather round and get comfortable. This morning, I'm going to share a story with you that I really wish had been around when I was growing up. I was a young one during the 1970s and 80s. And when it came to stories for kids, stories that I read or that were read to me, I can tell you I didn't really see very much of myself reflected in most of them. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer characters and storylines were at most hinted at. So by necessity, I had to use my imagination to fill in what my young lesbian self didn't see, but really wanted to. But today, I get to share this book with you that I would have loved. I hope you enjoy it too. Maiden and Princess by David Hawk and Isabel Gallupo. Once in a faraway kingdom, a call was made to all. To find their son a worthy bride, the king and queen would host a ball. The women in the village were happy to be invited, except for one young maiden who wasn't that excited. This maiden was quite special, the bravest in the land. She knew the prince from battle, giving her the upper hand. The prince is smart and strong, she confided in her mother. But if I'm being honest, I see him as a brother. Her mother said, just go and have a bit of fun. The prince might not be right, but you could meet the one. So the maiden put on a gown and headed to the ball. She marveled at all the people who filled the sparkling hall. The villagers flocked over to the maiden's side and insisted that she would make the best royal bride. You look magnificent. You are wise, brave, and true. There's no doubt in my mind that the prince will fall for you. Even the king and queen approached her with a smile. You must come see our son and dance with him a while. The maiden was quite flustered, so she said with care, please, pardon me, your majesties, but I must get some air. She fled up to the balcony and looked out at the sky. A future with the prince made her want to cry. I don't mean to bother you, said a voice soft and kind, but you seem quite upset. May I ask what's on your mind? A beautiful girl emerged who took the maiden's breath away. She sat down close to the maiden and asked if she could stay. Soon the maiden had forgotten about the prince and his throne. Summoning all her courage, she took the girl's hands in her own. Then the doors burst open and the king and queen walked through. There's our precious daughter. We've looked all over for you. The maiden's jaw fell open. Her head was feeling light. She had fallen for the princess on this wondrous starry night. The royal couple could feel the magic in the air. The queen said to the king, they're the perfect pair. The maiden felt quite bashful, but quickly stole a glance. She saw the princess smiling and asked her, want to dance? They held each other close as they spun across the floor. And when they shared a kiss, their hearts began to soar. Soon, the maiden and the princess were seldom seen apart. They filled their days together with books, laughter, and art. They rode horses and sang and picked wildflowers at dawn. They practiced their aim and faced adventure head on. When the day finally came to prove their love was true, the maiden and the princess happily said, I do. Now that's a fairy tale ending. My friends, later this morning, we're going to hear more about the visionary prophetic thinker James Baldwin. As a Black gay man, he knew, just like our maiden and me knew, that when the world doesn't neatly present you with what you need or deserve, you must have the courage to dare to imagine something else until it becomes real. I hope that you will be a person who envisions a world that works for you and for everyone. and imagines that world into being.
The following song by Sir Elton John and Bernie Taupin explores the final reconciliation between a homophobic father and his son dying of AIDS.
Good morning. I'm Catherine Jordan, and I'm a long-term member of the First Unitarian Society. It's my pleasure to join with the foundation of First Unitarian Society to announce that the Kurt Pearson Social Concerns Grants have just been awarded, and I'm a member of the board. Established in 1992 in loving memory of Kurt, his parents, Mibbs and Perry, established this fund. The Kurt Pearson Social Concerns Fund was created to support organizations that address social concerns that Kurt would have found important. Its annual grants are given to 501c3 charitable organizations. This year's awards of $8,550 will now make a grand total of over $58,000 that have been awarded through these grants. Here are the 2021 awardees. Kids at Risk received a grant of $1,250 to support a financial literacy mentoring program that teaches savings and investment strategies to young people. The Wholesome Minnesota Compassionate Action for Animals received a grant of $1,000 to provide free plant-based menu resources to school cafeterias to improve health outcomes and reduce the impact of climate change. The Dignity Center received a grant of $2,100 to welcome and support people living in poverty on their path to establishing stability by providing new beds to people moving out of homelessness. Just the Pill Abortion received a grant of $1,200 to expand access to medically induced abortion and other reproductive services to underserved communities by providing a full range of services, including contraception and birthing support. Moose Jaw, the Minnesota UU Social Justice Alliance, received a grant of $1,000 to organize and support the UU booths and parade presence at 2022 Pride Fests across Minnesota. We Health Clinic received a grant of $2,000 to provide evidence-based, culturally competent reproductive and sexual health care for all in Northeast Minnesota. They serve the LGBTQ+ community and Native women from 3 reservations. Please join me in congratulating these groups and their staff for all the work that they are doing in our community. We look forward to hearing more from these organizations in the coming weeks as they prepare short videos to describe their work and how they will be utilizing this funding. And thanks again to Mibbs and Perry for establishing this award. Thanks.
Since our founding in 1881, members and friends' support of First Unitarian Society has been essential for our ongoing mission. Our Sunday assemblies, community celebrations, cultural enrichment, and work in social justice come to you with the hard work of our dedicated staff and volunteers. Your contributions will help assure the continuing work of First Unitarian Society. Give now at PayPal, the Give Plus app, or firstunitarian.org/donate. Thank you.
On Sundays, when we gather, we take a few minutes to reflect on the joys, sorrows, and milestones of the human experience. We do this so that we stay in touch with our own humanity. We do this to remind ourselves of the value of a moment of stillness. And we do this so that no one among us is alone, either in celebrating joy or in facing the burdens of life. Today, Jay and I will lead us in a celebration of pouring out libations. Jay is going to be on the handheld microphone, so our tech team knows that. And do you want to tell us a little something about what the libations are as we get set up here?
Yes. So libations is oftentimes used as a honoring practice of those who have gone before us, oftentimes used in African American traditions. And you normally get a chance to see, you normally see water used. But unfortunately, it's not technically unfortunate because, of course, we have water shortage and we have to think about it being environmental friendly. I use grain. Me and my family use grain to represent those people, those ancestors. And of course, we have such beautiful grain here, which actually in many ways could represent the various races and ethnic groups, so those individuals that we hold dear. So I want you to have in your mind someone who came before you, someone who held you deeply, and we will invite them into this space. And I will also ask you to bring out your names. For those who are on the online community, we have Reverend Jim Foddy online, and who will also be feeding us some of those names. So please, you are a part of this process as well, as my virtual community is concerned, as well as we are all here in this space. So this might take some time.
Okay, before we start inviting the names here,
yes,
I want to read the ones that we already have, and then we'll invite this participatory part. So if you'll pour out when I say these. We lift up all people across the globe who are in the path of catastrophic weather events, especially those in Kentucky, Illinois, Missouri, and Arkansas, who are reckoning with the devastation of massive tornadoes over the weekend. We work for the day when there will be no more climate sacrifice zones.
And we're all going to say ashe when this
Ashe.
happens.
This morning we have an update from FUS member Terrell Brown, who has been dealing with tumors in his in his pancreas and liver. Doctors determined this past week that Terrell has stage 4 cancer, and he will begin chemotherapy in a few weeks. Terrell is feeling pretty good, other than a bit of fatigue, and we send our good thoughts to Terrell as he prepares for treatment. Ashe. And we have a joy this morning from FUS member Kathleen Rona, who had long-awaited knee replacement surgery this week. She's recuperating at the home of a friend and doing well, and we wish her a speedy and full recovery.
Ashe. For that speedy recovery.
If you would like to send a card to Kathleen or Terrell, you can find their addresses in the FUS member directory or contact Rev Jim. Now.
Indeed. All right. Well, as I'm going to do my best to hear everybody as they kind of speak names, and I will also do my best to repeat. And Jim, you can also inform me on who and what. But I'm going to first pour out, especially since this month has been very unique, and just going into this month, we have the verdict for Amir Aubrey, and I want to acknowledge that as an ancestor and anyone else, and I want us to continue that. So, and also for my father in this space, I invite him into this space as well. And you are all open to Ross and Phyllis Jordan. Ashe. Seth and Fanny Peterson. Thank you. Ashe. Hanson and Nellie Conwell.
The Reverend Dr. John Cummins.
Grand Row. Yes. Ashe. Grandpa Albert.
Marge Schreckler.
Ashe. Jesse Phillips. Faye Sample. Ashe. Ashe. Tony Jordan. Jesus of Nazareth, we give it, yes. Come on, being trans-religious in this space. All cultures are welcome. I ain't ashamed up in here. Margaret Jones. Led Bateman. Did I say that correctly? Ashe. Is there another? I want to also acknowledge that the 1st of December was World AIDS Day, and for all those victims and all those who came before us in that, I want to hold space for them as well and invite them into the space. Everybody with me. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Go ahead. Ben Russell, ashe. James Randolph. Ashe. Marlene Rollins. Ashe. Frederick Douglass. We bring all these beautiful ancestors into the space. We thank you so much. I want to just point this out. This is a tradition that actually is not, it doesn't have to just be a black thing. Okay, can y'all understand that with me? That's not a black thing. We should really appreciate our people that we come from, even if we do have some knucklehead ancestors in our past. Okay? But you know what? Bring the good ones in the space. All right? We can share in that together. This is not a foreign concept. We're not out of pocket here, okay? Not to take your spot. Go on, do your thing.
Thank you, Jay, for opening our hearts in a new way, opening our space in a new way, opening our imaginations in a new way. We now take a moment of silence for all the challenges and heartbreak that is going on in the world and in our lives. We pause to say out loud that these are difficult times for all kinds of people, and to remind ourselves to be gentle with ourselves and with each other.
The following Choreo-sermon is part of our message today. We are celebrating and learning in words, in music, and in dance. Jay?
I got to wait till Tuesday. Okay. Oh my God. I just need to keep hearing that right there. Hey, you are awesomely awesome. And you're the best. You're the best blessed. Just hell. I can't even sound, you know what to say.
Had a vision for 20 in the morning, thinking I'm a little sister sin morning, struggling with realities, no maladies, holidays are the same, everything's changed. No Bowie, no Prince, and no Michael, no Andre Crouch and the Disciples, no Walter, Edwin, or Deborah Coley, no Whitney, no George Michael. Toys R Us gone bankrupt. Damn, they guitars in it went bankrupt. Everything from my childhood's missing, man. Man, I swear it's such a fooled up feeling, man. I'm not mad, it's a simple observation. And I'm not sad, but it's not a celebration. I'm just trying to put the pieces back together, man. Everything's falling through my fingers like sand. It seems a tighter that I'm gripping. It seems the more that I am slipping. I feel like I lost everything I love. And where's this alleged agape love? In churches ain't the same. Gospel music just ain't the same. R&B it just ain't the same. But y'all keep telling me it's the same. But I ain't feeling nothing, damn it. And I don't wanna reach up and grab it. Shots fired, get to ducking. Always knew they were up to something. This ain't no future in your frontin'. And y'all know you still out here for. I'm not a baby, bro, I'm grown. Don't leave me standing out here alone. That's why I wrote this song. Because I know I'm not alone. What are we out here doing? What are we out here saying? People don't care no more. So fuck it, I don't care no more. This is too much for you to handle. I was always too much to handle. There ain't nothing new about me. You don't want authenticity. You don't want sincerity. 2020 brought me clarity. Now I see who
Change will exhaust you. I want y'all to hear me, so y'all bear with me. Change will exhaust you. It'll make you tired. But you can't give up now. I come to Minneapolis, and I love this place. But I see First Unitarian Society, we got a change to do. Thank you for donations, but I don't want donations right now. I need change. I'm not talking about pocket change. I'm not talking about 2 cents. I'm not trying to give you a penny for your thoughts. I need change. This is part 2 of Fire Next Time. When James Baldwin talks about, in the very first part, about what the term religious means, he refers to it as safety. I can't do what I do in here unless I feel safe to be here. Unless there's sanctuary for me. We know what a sanctuary city is. We know how that works. You should want to feel and know that we are not just good as humanists for good thinking and good thoughts. We are not just based in the practice of spelling God with 2 O's to make people feel comfortable. We are situated in actually being able to have best practice. Best practice ensures that we get better results for our city. Best practice ensures that we have things for young people to do in the city. Best practice allows for us to step out beyond ourselves when we think that we can't do it because of our age. I know too many people who are still out there doing some work. Whether they are making pies to feed somebody, whether they need to bring in somebody for a short period of time into their home, and they might not feel that comfortable, but they open up their home and make that stranger a beloved stranger. I know it's risky. I get it.
Now, back to James Baldwin on this. Now, I guess he was probably visiting some friends in New Orleans, right? Now, a lot of people in southern Mississippi had a southern Mississippi self, and then they had a New Orleans self. And the New Orleans self was the true self, and I'm sure that some of those folks were going down to talk to James Baldwin. So anyway, he heard about this somehow. And I would hasten to also add that Baldwin could not be officially welcomed at the university. He was a civil rights activist, he was gay, and he lived in France. So he was just all kinds of bad, strike 3, right? And so he couldn't come. But he could visit on the sly. He slipped onto campus and met with this dangerous outside agitator communist bomb-throwing group called the Graduate Poetry Seminar, right? Unfortunately, he was booked for the date that we planned the fundraiser, but he wanted to stop by and tell us that we were doing a brave and a worthy thing. And we talked, and we laughed, and we smoked cigarettes in class because you could do it that in those days, and he was a chain smoker. And we told stories about resistance and about being a writer and how important it is to write, even if it seems like those blows against the empire just don't really land anywhere. Someday America would wake up. That's what James Baldwin deeply and truly believed. Someday America would wake up. Because actually, People are good, he believed. They are afraid, they are in pain, but the louder they yell, the deeper is their pain, and the closer they are to redemption. He really believed that. He had such a small and frail body. He was nearing his death from stomach cancer at that point, but his soul was so huge. And I'll never forget a couple of hours that I was privileged to spend with James Baldwin, plotting with him how to save America.
Did you figure out how to save it yet?
We're working on it.
Right? I think I'm still trying to figure it out too. We're in a process. Thank you for that, because I really admired the fact. It was really awesome to have people who are connected to ancestors you really admire, and it's good to know that you were doing that fight around AIDS and HIV. For myself, I've been HIV positive for 13 years. So when you hear that, the work that you were doing, I'm grateful. Now I can only, I like literally, right? I can take one pill a day and keep going. It's not my death sentence. That's change. Right? Look, you wouldn't have nobody dancing. So there's work there. And I want to just remind us that our work is never in vain. Our work is never in vain. There is always beauty in the ashes. And I think we have a good way of doing that in this place. I really believe that we have the ability to do that, because we are, in many ways, too, being a part of this overall constant revisiting of change. There's a new thing for me to do. There will be a new thing for some of our offspring, right? And that is important. And the more we keep paving the way, the more stories like yours are told and held and remembered. I come from a tradition where you remembered stories, oral tradition. So you did your best to remember the stories because they resonate with you. Most people ask me how, I really don't, me, David, I'll sit with books for a good while, but I like to embody the text. I like for it to be hidden deeply here. And I invite you to do the same thing anytime you're reading something. Don't get it here. That's good. Good thinking. But let's get some good practice. Best practice, better practice. That has informed a lot of this today. And so until next time, I will say, we got fire next time, right? Hope you got some fire today. Hope you got some fire today. So yeah, thank you. Whew. I'm burning up. I'm burning up.
All right. Well, we will extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. All of these we carry in our hearts and in our minds until we are together again. We're going to hear from Story now. She was going to come, but she couldn't come at the last minute, but we're going to hear a recording.
In me, I can't discern them from my own. She walked a life on a tightrope, danced in fields of smoking guns, and I try to fit them over her, but I break it every time. Can't seem to speak my mind. What's the use in trying? Reaching towards the ceiling to touch the sky. Wonder if I reach it, cause it's so damn high. Mama better watch me, learn them facts. Gonna spread my wings, gonna love me for me. Yeah, gonna love me for me. Yeah. face my fears. Mama better watch me. Mama better watch me. Mama better watch me. Gonna spread my wings. Watch me. Yeah, gonna love me for me. Mama better watch me. Mama better watch me. Mama better watch me. Gonna spread my wings and fly. Yeah, gonna love me for me. Yeah, gonna love me for me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gonna love me for me. Yeah, gonna love me for me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gonna love me for me. Gonna reach into the ceiling. Gonna touch the sky. Wonder if I reach it, 'cause it's so damn high. Gonna better watch me. Gonna learn it fast. Gonna learn my way for me. Yeah, gonna love me for me. Gonna love me for me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gonna love me for me. Gonna love me for me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gonna love me for me.
All right, absolutely. She has to come live and in person next time you visit, all right? All right, we're going to close out with some words from James Baldwin, who wrote, "It has always been much easier, because it has always seemed much safer, to give a name to the evil without than to locate the terror within. And yet, the terror within is far truer and far more powerful than any of our labels. The labels change, the terror is constant. And this terror has something to do with that irreducible gap between the self one invents, the self one takes oneself as being, which is, however, by definition, a provisional self, and the undiscoverable self, which has always had the power to blow that provisional self to bits. Be yourself. So may it be."
You are way more than enough, so go out and be great and stuff. Go out and do what you love right now.